least you can post it.
Yeah, but I was posting the wrong one. Or like it was, I don't know. Supposedly I'm posting one that says edit. And
so that's what I was doing.
And the one I'm supposed to post isn't that one. But when I go click on it, it worked for me. And he said, no, you have to make sure it doesn't have edit in it.
Yeah, because when it has the edit in it, it just takes you to your own profile. So like if I went and clicked on it, it would take me to my videos instead of the video of the recording.
Oh, yeah, that's what happened to me when I click on the link.
So I don't understand how to, do you have to make it public, unlisted? What do you do?
I think you just go and click on the video and then get the link from there.
So once you click on the video, because yeah, I tried a couple different links and they were all different, and so he didn't tell me which one worked, but one of them worked. But I don't think we got credit for one or two of the videos back in the day, even though we did them. That's so frustrating. I didn't realize that posting something, even though he couldn't watch it, posting it, I mean, I'm not lying about it. I thought he would be like, okay, well, I know you did it, you know.
Well, and I even followed the instructions on how to post it and where to get the link from. And apparently what the instruction says is wrong because that's what I was following. So I don't know.
I just went and asked my 2-year-old daughter. She's like, Dad, this is so easy. Come on, come on.
But if you send me the links from the old videos, then I can go in and give you credit for those.
Okay. I will go ahead and do that. Can you do that for yours? Can you do that for 4 and 5, Greg?
I'm gonna have to find out which ones didn't work and what.
4 and 5.
Was that those are the ones? Well, I thought 5 worked. I'll check. We'll have to check on our grades. So, but I will send those to you, Kristen, if I can figure it out. So, okay. So we got 21 questions today. So let's.
21.
Boy, yay, 21. Okay. So are you guys all ready to go?
Yep.
Of course.
We'll do the thing that we do in Elders Quorum, and someone starts, and then everyone we go the next person. So Herman gets to start first.
Okay, the quiz starts by number 1.
Mm-hmm.
What's the answer?
Okay. Okay, I have it here. Okay, when calculating anything, please remember to round. Okay, it's not here. Which how can I say hypothesis?
It's hypothesis.
Hypothesis. Okay, which hypothesis involves equality?
Null.
Any ideas?
Okay, null.
No.
Sorry.
Right, the null. Yep. Adner, welcome. We're gonna get to see
Adner a real person? I have never watched him or.
That you've never seen him?
No.
He's real.
I think he's not using the video so that it might be a stronger signal.
So he can actually hear?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Adner, we have faith. We can't see you, but we know you're real. We have faith.
We have seen you before.
I got a kid's book about faith that talks about that.
I'm confusing. Sometimes I think that Edner is Edgar. And,
I had the same confusion the first times. Every time Greg said, "Hi, Edner."
Adner and Edgar. Okay.
But I'm wondering about Kristen. Kristen, what is Kristen doing here? And
I'm the TA. I just come and pop into your group sometimes. Or if you invite me to come and you need help, then I can do that too.
So Herman, TA stands for Teacher's Assistant.
Teacher assistant. Okay.
And tutor. I'm a tutor too for the class.
Teaching is teacher TAT. Teaching assistant tutoring. Okay. So who's next? Tiffany or Edgar?
Tiffany.
Did we answer the question?
Number 4.
Oh, okay. Number 4. The p-value is the probability of obtaining a sample statistic at least as extreme as one that is actually observed. Use the information to answer the next question. Remember that the p-value is the probability of obtaining a sample statistic at least as extreme as the one that was actually observed.
Okay.
When computing the p-value, which hypothesis do you assume to be true? The null.
Woo.
That's my answer.
Yes.
I could be wrong.
I agree.
Let's all pretend we're not looking at Kristen. Right. So when we compute the p-value, hold on a sec. Let's just really quickly.
Yes, I think I read
have so many notes.
Always assume that the null hypothesis is true, right? We always assume.
Okay, always assume that the null hypothesis is true.
Because that's the one you're trying to prove is false or true.
Okay.
Because you're either rejecting the null or failing to reject the null.
Gotcha. So the null hypothesis is up for trial, and we are trying to prove otherwise. Okay, very good.
True until proven not true.
Okay. Then Edgar, are you next?
Yes.
Number 5.
Suppose the null hypothesis is H0, the mean, 10. Use this information to answer the next 3 questions. Which of the following represents the alternative hypothesis for a 2-tailed test? And I think is the third one is the mean is not equal to 10. Those 2 possibilities, that is greater than or less than, I think.
I swear I read all this. I think you're right. I think it's the mean is not equal to 10. Yeah, it has to be, because if it equals 10, then that's not an alternative. That's the null. So it has to be the alternative. The mean is not equal to 10.
Yeah. Not equal 10. It's the same to say it's different than 10.
Hey,
Right.
I have a question for Kristen. When we are completing this quiz, we have the opportunity to share notes and that stuff that we read, or no?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Yeah. Even on the test, we can do that. Kristen just said so, so we're good. Kidding. Okay, so then now let's talk about the idea behind this. If it is the mean is less than 10, then that's a left tail, right? And if the mean is greater than 10, then that's a right tail. And I just look at that, but the way that the less than or greater than sign is pointing, that's the side that the tail is on. Okay, but a 2-tail, it basically all it's saying is it does not equal 10. That's all it says, and that's all we're trying to determine. We're not determining what the actual number is. It's just it's not the null hypothesis. Am I right?
Yeah, so it can be greater or less than. That's why.
Yeah. But this one, it's 2-tailed, and so it's not does not equal 10. So it's the third one.
Yep.
Okay. Number 6, I will read. Which of the following represents the alternative hypothesis for a left-tailed test? The first one.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. Very good. Number 7.
Is it my turn?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Number 7, which of the following represents the alternative hypothesis for a right-tailed test? And this stands for Kristen.
Do you know what that means?
Kristen?
Okay.
Which of the following represents the alternative hypothesis for a right
tail?
Okay, so check this out. Can you guys see that okay? Now, because of it turns everything backwards, I don't really know what we're doing here.
You want me to screen share?
So, well, yeah, let's screen share. That's a good idea. And let me pull up the applet real quick.
If we're looking at this right here, you guys see that?
Oh, are you screen sharing?
I am.
Okay, because so was I, so I'll let you win this one.
Okay, so two-tailed is not equal, left-tailed is less than, right-tailed is greater than.
Right.
So we're looking for the right-tailed one, so it should be the greater than. You see that?
Does that make sense? If it's right tail, it just means what we're looking for. Our hypothesis, the alternative hypothesis, is we're stating it will be more than the null hypothesis, or the original mean that we're trying to disprove or prove is not true. We are saying it's more than. That's right tail. If we say our hypothesis is that it's less than, that's left tail. And if our hypothesis is saying it's one or the other, but it's not 10, then that's the double-tailed or two-tailed or whatever it's called. So, yes. Okay, does that make sense, Herman?
I think so.
Okay, great. So, what number did we just read? That was number 7. Right-tailed is greater than.
It's greater than. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Next one.
Is it my turn?
Yes.
Okay. Remember that we determine the outcome of a hypothesis test by comparing the p-value to the value or to the level of significance, or alpha. Use this information to answer the next 2 questions. Which relationship would result in failing to reject the null hypothesis? P-value greater than alpha, p-value less than alpha, p-value greater than z, or p-value less than z?
Now, hold on a minute. Don't we need to know what the hypothesis is, the alternative hypothesis is, before we can determine this?
No, it's just like the theory of I think the theory is that if the p-value is less.
Oh, no. If it's greater.
Significance.
Yeah.
We reject.
Okay.
And if it's greater than the level of significance, we fail to reject, right?
Right, that's right. Okay, so if it's less than the level of significance,
we reject.
We reject. So reject the null. So that would be number 2, p-value is less than alpha.
Alpha.
But this one's asking about failing to reject.
Oh, it's the opposite.
Yes,
opposite.
I just read the last. Okay, which relationship would result in failing to reject? Would be then when the p-value is greater than
yes.
Alpha. Okay. What's the other word for alpha again? I can never think of it.
Level of significance.
Level of significance. Okay, very good. Okay. You ever notice that up in here in America, when we say significance, we actually say significance with the G?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't know.
It's not right. Significance. Significance. Okay. Who read that one?
Me.
Okay, so it's your turn,
My
Edgar.
turn. Which relationship would result in rejecting the null hypothesis?
Now it's asking what you were saying.
Now it's
P-value
Now it's
is
less than.
less than.
less than.
Alpha.
Yep.
So the second.
Yes.
The second one. Very good. Okay. Number 10, my turn. An insurance company is reviewing its current policy rates. When originally setting the rates, they believed the average claim amount was $1,500. They are concerned that the true mean is actually higher than this. Use this information for the next 2 questions. Sorry, it's not boring. It's just tired. I was up till 1 o'clock last night studying, but I kind of determined that if it's statistics or accounting that I'm studying past 11:30, it doesn't matter. I don't learn anything anyways. Okay, so let me read that again. An insurance company, 15. Okay, so they're concerned that the true mean is actually higher than $1,500. So the next 2 questions. Which of the following would be the appropriate hypothesis for HA? The average claim amount is equal to? No. The average claim is not equal to? No. The average claim is greater than? Yes. That's what they're afraid of, so that's what they want to determine.
I concur.
The average claim amount.
We all concur?
I concur.
What?
Concur.
I agree. Concur.
It means agree.
Agree.
In Portuguese, you say nos concordamos. Am I right?
Yes, you're right.
All right.
I concur.
In Spanish, you say estamos de acuerdo.
Estamos de acuerdo.
De acuerdo.
Acuerdo. Português, you can say estamos de acordo.
No, you can say estamos de acuerdo.
Yeah.
You say estamos.
Estamos.
I know, I'm just messing with you. Okay, you can say that too?
Yeah.
Okay, number 11 then is you, Herman.
Which of the following would be the appropriate null hypothesis? This will be which one? Equal to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I agree.
Yep.
Null hypothesis is always equal to, right?
Yeah.
Yes, you're correct. Okay, next is you, Tiffany.
That was the first time I was correct.
Is it my turn or Edgar's?
Yours.
Okay. The insurance company randomly selects n equals 40 claims and calculates a sample mean of 100 or 1,650. Use this information to answer the next 3 questions. The insurance company assumes the distribution of the sample means is normal. Is this a good assumption?
Yes, because of the law of whatever, it's n has to be above 30 for us to assume. Well, hold on. What does it say about the population? Nothing. Right?
No, but the sample size is large.
Right. So because it's a large sample size, then that's why we can assume. Okay.
The first one.
Doesn't say anything about the population. Okay. Do you any questions about that, Herman?
I only have question about number 6.
Number what? 6.
Which of the following represent the alternative? It's number 6.
Do a screen share again for number 6, Tiffany, so you can show why it is.
Okay.
Please.
Number 6.
I actually have to go, but if you guys have any questions, just let me know. Shoot me an email.
Okay. I'll work with you on those things. Okay, on the videos.
Yeah, I'll get
good.
6 and 7 to you. Thank
I have
you.
a question. I have a question.
Great.
Oh, wait, Kristen, hold on. Herman has a question for you.
Okay.
Okay. I know you already answered my email, but can you how can I say, intermediate for me?
Talk to the professor on his behalf.
Okay. Yeah, I emailed him about you already.
The multitasker. Look at that.
Okay.
So I'll let you know what he says.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Try to ask him again because he's delaying. If he can make it to do Saturday, I can do this because I will be home the entire Saturday.
Okay.
So, hey,
I
Kristen,
will see what he says.
Herman, he's in the hospital. I mean, sorry, he's in the hotel working a majority of the time, and he doesn't get to go home. So,
Gotcha.
balancing between home and work. So, okay.
Sounds
Well,
good.
thank you for your help, Kristen.
We'll talk to you later.
Okay, have a
Bye.
good night. Yeah, bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, so
Armando Mercier, did you see this?
so really simple, Herman. Look at number 1. You see where the arrow's pointing?
Yeah,
What direction?
to 10.
What
It's
direction is it pointing?
like to direction, right direction.
I'm talking
Ah,
about the
okay.
point.
Right.
Okay. Pointing to mu,
Yep, but which way is it pointing? Right or left?
left.
Left.
Right.
Okay,
So it's a
that's the answer.
left-tailed.
Left tail.
And so what now think about this though, Herman, that this is your alternative hypothesis. So your hypothesis is saying that it's not going to be 10, it will be less than 10. That is left tail, less than 10. If your
Okay.
hypothesis is that it'll be more than 10, then it's a right tail. It means it points to the right. That's exactly what it means. So
Right.
you can just use points left, it's left. Points right, it's right tail. Okay?
Okay.
Right.
Thank
Yes, these ones.
Yeah.
So it's left-tailed, and it's less than.
Yes.
you.
Okay. We are on number, let's see.
13.
Yes, 13. It's my turn.
Yes.
Okay.
What theorem or law justifies your answer to the previous question? The central limit theorem?
Yes.
Okay. Sample size is large. Yippee. Easy peasy.
Okay. My turn, number 14. Which of the following is the test statistic as defined in the lesson? Hold on, don't say it. If you know it, don't say it. I gotta read this.
Which of the following is a test statistic?
There are two different definitions for the test statistic. Crap. It is.
Bless you.
Thank you.
The Z-score.
I don't remember that part.
Okay, so in the steps to hypothesis, in the steps, right here it says number 2, and I wrote compute the test stat or test statistic, and that is the Z-score. Okay, so that's your test statistic is the Z-score. Okay, Z. Okay. Okay, I'm so glad we actually do this because everything makes so much more sense after we talk about it. Your turn, Herman.
Okay. Which of the following is the test statistic as defined in this lesson?
That's number 2. But
Number 14.
14.
Which defining
Z.
statistical.
That's the one we just answered.
that's
Number
C,
Okay,
the second one.
I will read the next.
Okay, go ahead.
The historical mean of sales receipts at a grocery store is 150 with standard deviation of 40. The store manager
O gerente
suspects that the average has decreased. She sets up a hypothesis test with the hypothesis. I still have to understand what's written here.
Okay, if you look at that hypothesis here, when it ends in es, that means more than one. That means plural. Okay, that says hypotheses. That's how we pronounce that. That means that there's 2.
Hypotheses.
Okay, so because there's 2. One is the null. Now, do you guys understand what null means, by the way? Null means nothing. It means it's the same. Nothing's changed. Null. Okay? That's what null means. So if you say, what has changed? Nothing has changed. That means null. So that's why the null hypothesis is staying. Another term that they use in the book is status quo. That's Latin. It just means everything is the same. Same as the way it goes. Okay? So the first hypothesis is null, and the second is the alternative hypothesis, and it's saying that he wants to know if it's less than 150, if the mean of sales receipts. Do you guys know what a sales receipt is?
Sales
El
receipt.
ticket. Las ventas.
Etiqueta, right?
Recibos.
Yeah,
El recibo. Ajá.
la
Si las
factura.
ventas han bajado. Vamos a ver si el promedio de ventas ha bajado. No sé si me entiendes en español, Herman.
Más o menos.
Más o menos.
It's the receipt is how much people spend, right? The receipt is the la factura. The receipt is when you pay the money, they give you the receipt. This is what you spent.
Okay.
So he wants to know if people are spending. Yeah, it's in Portuguese. It's recibo. You know that. Okay. So he wants to know if the average sales receipt is less than 150 or at 150. Now, if you think about it from a logical point of view, of course he wants to know that. He's the store manager. He's worried that people are spending less money on average, right? So these are the 2 hypotheses. They are spending or they're spending less than $150. Okay, so she will use the level of significance at 0.05, and she takes a simple random sample, n equals 36. Okay, and she is saying, though, and from those 36 receipts, who is reading this one? Sorry.
Herman.
She will use a level of significance of what's
Alpha.
Alpha level of significance equal 0.05. She then takes a simple random sample of 36 sales receipts from her store and compute. This is the mean equal $144.
That's not a mean. Oh, I'm sorry. It is the
X bar.
X bar. So right, that is the
Mean of mean.
mean of sample means. Right.
mean.
But when you say x, x is always what we're comparing to the null hypothesis, right? We're always comparing x to, so if you look here, this is how we start. X z equals 144 minus 150, because 144 is what we're gonna, the answer is going to be 144 is true or not true. 144 is, and I mean, by looking at this, we know what the answer is going to be, right?
It's not, that's not what it's asking on 15.
Well, it's not. You're right. It's not. So we have to use the level of significance and then determine. Yeah. Well, okay. So let's do it then. Eric, can you guys? Do you know what we're doing here? Do you know what the this right here? This is the equation. It's the same as before, but here it says the null mean, which is 150, or the original mean that we're dealing with in the null hypothesis, the original. Okay, so then it's x bar minus the null mean, which is 144 minus 150, over the standard deviation, which is 40, and that is divided by the square root of, and how many samples did we take?
36.
36, which that is 6, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
So that's what we do. So you guys, but let me know when you're ready. Let's all do it separately and see if we get the same thing.
Wait, I need my calculator. I'm coming back.
Okay.
Well, that's a nice number.
I'm glad that they made it easy. I like that.
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh.
And
0.9?
0.900 is the z-score. Is that what you got?
I got negative
Yes.
0.9.
Negative 0.9.
Negative 0.9. Negative 0.9.
Okay,
Yes.
now let's go. Actually, Tiffany, could you pull up the chat app? I mean the probability applet.
Yep.
I keep calling it the chat applet. And then plug it in. Plug it in.
It's asking for the z-scores.
That is the z. Yes, so negative 0.900.
So that's the answer.
No, it's not. Because what are we doing? Is it left-tailed, right-tailed, or both?
That's not what it's asking. It's asking for the z-score as the answer.
I know, but just because we're going to do this next,
Okay.
I'm sure we're going to do this next or in the next little bit. So it is, we're saying our alternative hypothesis is
It's left-tailed.
less than, so it's left-tailed. So we only click on the left side. And the area up above, my guess is that's the next answer. But that is, that's what we compare to the, what's it called? That's what we compare to the level of significance. Whether or not 0.184 is greater than or less than the level of significance. Okay, so let's look at the next one. What is the p-value? Is that 0.18?
Yes, minus point. No. What is p-value?
Well, it's not minus because it's out of 1. So it's 0.18 is the area. 0.184. Remember, 3 decimal places. So 0.184. And who's Is it my turn? I'll read number 17. What inference would you make about the null hypothesis for this problem? Okay, so 0.18 is greater than 0.05. So we fail to reject the null hypothesis because, oh boy.
Because the p-value is greater than the level of significance.
The p-value is greater than the level of significance, so you fail to reject the null hypothesis. Now, this sounds a little bit like redundant, doesn't it? Like we're saying, I don't not want to go, you know? Like we say a double. It doesn't kind of feel like a double negative.
Yeah.
Because, but we have to look at what we're trying to prove. We're trying to prove that the null hypothesis is false. We want to reject the null hypothesis. The whole purpose is to reject. But if we don't, then we fail to reject the null hypothesis, right?
Yep.
Okay, so answer me this. I'm confused. So we're saying that 0.184 is greater than
0.05.
0.50?
It's 0.05.
Yes.
Oh, it's 0.05. Gotcha. That's where I was wrong. Okay.
Yeah. And so now remember that, because did you hear Chris Dan said in most of the cases they use 0.05 as the level of significance.
Okay.
So that's like, remember, that's what we can expect from that.
Okay.
So, okay. So what is your conclusion for this problem?
The conclusion.
We have insufficient evidence.
No, we have sufficient.
No. If you don't reject the null hypothesis, then that is insufficient evidence. It doesn't prove that it's at 150. It just proves that our hypothesis, the alternative hypothesis, is insufficient. It does not, all it proves is that we're wrong on the null hypothesis, but it doesn't prove that we have sufficient evidence. So it's either you have sufficient evidence to reject the null hypothesis, or you don't. That's all. That's all we can say.
And we don't have in this case.
So, because in the conclusion, there are only two things you can do. If you reject the null hypothesis, then you have sufficient evidence. If you don't reject it, then you have insufficient evidence.
Yeah.
So
you're right.
So let's read it. We have insufficient evidence that the true population mean is less than 150.
Number one.
Because that's what we were trying to prove. No, not number one.
Number three.
Yeah, because listen, number one says we have insufficient evidence that the population mean is 150. No, we're trying to prove that it's less than 150, and we couldn't. So we have insufficient evidence that the true population mean is less than 150.
Less than, yeah.
Okay, yeah. In Costa Rica, they would say, ya se te cayó la peseta. I finally get it. Ding, the light turned on. Okay, who's next? Someone else read.
En México dicen ya te cayó el 20.
El 20.
Al 20.
El 20 pesos, but with inflation, it's like los 2,000.
Okay, I can read. There are two types of errors that can be made when performing hypothesis test. Which one involves rejecting the null hypothesis when the null hypothesis is true?
Ooh.
Type
Type
1,
1.
type 2.
Type 1. My vote is for type 1. I don't remember.
Yes.
Type
So
Type 1?
type 1.
yes, type 1. Sorry, you can't read my writing in that, but yes, type 1. So when you're rejecting the null hypothesis when the null hypothesis is true. That doesn't make any sense to me, but we just have to know that that's the answer. Okay. Tiffany, you want to read the next one?
Okay, that's
Yeah, well.
that's good. We are close to finish, but I was confused about number 15 and number 16.
Okay, let's go over those again.
We have like, what is this? The z-score will be 0.08. That's what we calculated. No.
The z-score is negative 0.900.
Yeah.
0.900.
Negative 0.900. Oh my gosh, it's hailing here.
No way.
Yep.
Wow. Welcome to Washington.
And what the p-value?
The p-value is 0.184.
Wow.
80.
Saudar. How do you say that in Spanish? Oh, do you know what hail is?
No.
Granizo.
Okay.
Oh.
Granizo is saudade.
Saudar, right? Is that Portuguese? Saudar?
Saudade.
Yeah, saudade. Okay.
Spanish is
Hail.
granizo.
Granizo. Yeah.
Granizo.
Granizo.
Frozen rain.
Okay. And what was your next question there, Herman?
No.
Did you get 15 and 16?
15 and 16. 15 is negative 0.900.
Yep.
And the other one is 0.1800.
No, 84. 184. 184.
Okay. Okay, I'm done with the questions.
I just read number 20 and I can't.
Do you want me to read this one just to practice?
Yeah, read it. Read it.
A researcher decided that instead of using a level of significance of alpha equal 0.05, he will use alpha equal 0.01. Which of the following will be true? 1, the probability of the type 1 errors will increase. The probability of type 2 errors will increase. The probability that the null hypothesis is true will decrease. His experiment will be more scientifically valid.
Scientifically valid.
Valid.
So what you're doing is,
I'm going to say number 4.
well, hold on. Let's think about this. Even though you got a higher score on the test, that doesn't mean that you know.
I
know. So you're reduced. Okay, let's just think about this. The level of significance is what's compared to alpha. That is alpha.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do, I'm just trying to think through this here. crap, where am I doing that? Ah, okay. So the p-value is then the area under the curve that we have isolated based on our hypothesis, our alternative hypothesis. So the p, if alpha, which is level of significance, is reduced, there's a greater chance that the p-value will be greater than the level of significance, which means that more likely we will not reject the null hypothesis. And if we're not going to reject the null hypothesis, then
Number 2, the probability of a type 2 error will increase.
right, because that is that the alternative hypothesis is false, and we fail to reject the alternative hypothesis. Is that right?
I'm not sure. I couldn't read that part.
I actually can't tell which one is HA and which one's HO.
It's in 4.5 in the book.
Where did I open the book here?
Me too.
4.5? Wait, what do you mean 4.5?
Oh, section 4.5 in
chapter 9.
chapter 9. So it's down toward the bottom.
For type 1 and type 2 errors. Okay. So, all of them say HO. All of them. So, we're saying that if we decrease the level of significance, it is more likely that the null hypothesis will be true. So in other words, we fail to reject the null hypothesis.
Here it is. If the alpha value is very small, the probability of committing a type 2 error will be large.
Yes, so we did it. Okay, we were right. Good. Where is that in the book?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. Okay. Perfect. Awesome. Okay, that's good. I'm glad, because that's the thing. I want to understand the principle behind it. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm reaching for when I do this stuff.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So then question 21.
Question 21.
Right.
If alpha is equals to 0.05, compute the probability of committing a type 1 error. Round to the to 2 decimal places.
Oh, based on
I don't know how to do that.
Hold on. Okay. Déjame lo pienso.
A ver. The alpha is 0.5, compute the probability of committing a type 1 error.
Okay. So while you're thinking about it, do you want to know something interesting about Portuguese?
What?
The double R makes an H sound, but the word to run is spelled the same. Correr is spelled the same in Portuguese. So if the double R makes an H sound, how do you pronounce correr in Portuguese?
Coger.
Cuidado. That's a really bad word in a lot of countries.
Coger.
Yeah, so you say, eu corro todos los días. I run every day. But that's a bad word. There you go. That's my thought for the day. How do you type, okay, the probability of committing a type 1 error?
That would be our probability curve.
But how do you compute 0.05? Oh, wait. Okay, because let's think about this. Think about this. When we determine the, hold on. I'm gonna have real words in a second.
The p-value.
What the crap? Where? Okay, when we determine the p-value, the p-value makes no sense unless it has something to compare it to, which is the level of significance. Well, that level of significance is also an area under the curve, right?
Yes.
So if we type in 0.05, 0.05, and it is asking the probability of committing a type 1 error in this question. It has to be this question because we don't know if it's left, right, or both.
So it says the probability of
that's 5%.
Hello,
detecting a true null hypothesis.
Hello there.
Hello.
I have another class at 10 o'clock. They are calling me there. They are asking, are you coming or not?
I think the answer is 0.05 because that's actually the amount of space there. Go ahead, Herman. Thanks, bud. We'll talk to you next week, okay?
Okay, thank you.
See you later. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
But that is the area, is 0.05.
Is that an area?
Was that just thunder? That was just thunder.
Yep.
I saw the lightning out of the corner of my eye. So I think that is 0.05 because.
What were you reading?
I didn't read anything. I'm just making stuff up.
Edgar was reading something, so I thought he read something in the book.
Oh,
I could be wrong.
Probably did.
No. Well, I read something, but no about that.
Okay, so let's just do it, see what it says. We'll learn later. Okay, I gotta go anyways. Okay, save all responses. Go to submit quiz. Submit quiz. Two, two, one, 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 one. Oh shoot! We got the z-score wrong.
Oh.
Z-score? What question?
Oh, I didn't write negative. Because everything else is right. So, and number 21 is right. It's 0.05.
Way to go. Oh,
But I didn't write negative negative 0.900 on number 15. But it has to be right because I got the p-value right. So it's right. I just didn't write the negative. Crap.
That's right. I don't know what I. Dude,
did you keep your number 4? Is that why?
No, I put number 1 because I thought that's what you guys had said.
No, the type 2 error will increase.
Oh, dang. Oh well.
Okay, 95%. Hey, for how I lacked a lot of confidence in my understanding of this chapter when we started. I think we did okay.
You knew more than you thought.
I did. Okay. Well, hey, thanks, guys. Have a good weekend. We will see you on Tuesday.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so
Bye.
you guys. Bye.